Hey guys, MoneyMan300. Welcome back for some more videos, and this time we're going to do another C-Class build. I haven't done just a build and tune for a while, and I was kind of going up through the classes and got through D-Class and started, I think I started C. I don't think I got to B. I started C, and I wanted to kind of get back on that a little bit and get a couple more builds out there for C-Class, and just because I wanted to I've been kind of going through and fixing up my cars and wanted to add a couple. So this one is the 66 Nova, and I built this one specifically to be a great all-around car, very easy to drive, very fast. Not necessarily a rivals build, although you could set some top times, especially on Bathurst and a couple of the other speed tracks. This definitely go way into the top 500, probably higher than that. Without a problem. But really what I built it for is just to have some more multiplayer speed cars, and it is that, and it's a lot of fun to drive, super balanced, really good. So what I'm going to do is leave you here, and instead of showing a rivals run, I'm going to show you a multiplayer race here, and this lobby was a mess. A couple of races before that, and people are crashing, and they're all over the place, and I get into trouble, you know, get all mixed up with these guys early on, and start from the very back and way behind, and have to try to work my way back up through. But anyways, ends up being a pretty good race and a good demonstration of what this car is capable of doing. So I'm going to leave you with the race here, and then we'll get back, hop back in here and show you guys the build and the tune. All right, so here we are over in the garage with the 66 Nova. And interesting race that was there. One more lap I would have had him, or if I wouldn't have got so caught up earlier, I definitely would have had him and probably won that race going away. As you can see, I was about 5 seconds faster than anybody, even on that last lap that I was still battling with a little bit of traffic in there. So certainly a car that's going to be able to win you some multiplayer races with no problem. Got that sweet fire paint build. I'm going to try to make sure I give credit for the paints in the game as I go through, and this one is from the Daza, and I think there's a space in there, D-A-Z-A. So if you guys want to go get the paint, that way get the guy that made it the credit for this one. Anyway, let's hop in and take a look at our build and tune here. I did spend a little bit of time on this one. Probably rebuilt it 2-3 different times, different configurations, different ways to really get. I really wanted to get this dialed in because it's going to be a multiplayer car, a car that I'll use quite a bit when I'm racing a multiplayer, not just something I go set a time with and don't really use that much. So I really wanted to make sure it was balanced in multiplayer and it could handle a variety of tracks and traffic situations and things like that. So I did spend a fair amount of time, and I think you guys are really going to like this one. So let's get into our engine swap area. And I did not do an engine swap, although I played around with it. I did end up with the stock, which look at it, which is a 6.3 liters of displacement, 6.3 liter V8. You can go up to the 7 liter, and I did try that. I just didn't like the combination of what I got out of that. It really didn't work for me here. And let's take a look while we're in here at our numbers real quick. 6047 8280 and 49. So it's a really good balance. It handles well. It's got good speed, good top end, accelerates well, launch. I mean, it does a lot of things really well, and that's what makes this a good multiplayer car. 424 horsepower, 437 foot-pounds of torque. Pretty light at 2,500 pounds, so that helps too, especially in places that have hills like Bathurst and things like that, and it really helps with your acceleration. So, and it makes it fun to drive. So, and then here are some of our numbers. Not the highest top speed, but you can get to that top speed. So some cars you get, crazy top speeds, but it doesn't really matter because on 95% of the tracks, you'll never get there. This car, you're going to get there on Bathurst, towards the bottom of the hill, or at least real close to it. You're going to get there on Indy GP, tracks like that. So that's the good thing about this car, is with the acceleration that it has and the weight, you're able to get it up to that top speed. So there's that there. And let's hop over. There is no drivetrain conversion. Let's take a look at our aspiration. I also did not end up with aspiration conversion. I tried both of these and ultimately settled on nothing in there, and that was what I liked the best. I do have the race front bumper on here and the race rear wing, both as always. And I did not put the hood on there. You'll have to find a PI somewhere if you're in love with one of these hoods and you want to do that. You're going to have to change something out, and it is going to probably be the wheels, because I already got the heaviest wheels you can get on there, so you're not going to get any PI out of that. You'll have to switch around some engine parts or do something a little different there. So let's take a look at our tire compound. I did end up in the street tire compound. I also tried a combination with stock. It just wasn't easy enough to drive, especially for a C. It was fast, no doubt about it, but my lap times overall were generally slower, quite a bit slower, just because it was so slow through the turns and things. This, along with some changes in the engine parts in different areas, made it much more balanced and made it very manageable in the turns and still fast on the straightaways. So we ended up one upgrade up on the tires, and I have stock width. So look at the difference here on that front tire width. 18 PI. That's just not worth it, to be honest with you. So I ended up with the stock tire width in the front. I believe I did go fully upgrade in the rear though. So yeah, so I did do that. But that crazy upgrade there. It's only 14 PI to go to the max here, which isn't really bad. And you actually get really good benefit out of it. It really helps with the controlling the wheel spin on this car. So wheels, as I mentioned, we have the heaviest ones, which are over here. Both of these will work. I think there's a couple of others that you can fit in with your PI. If you have a preference on a different type of wheel, I kind of fit within the theme of this car, though. Just that kind of cool look, and the crosses on there are pretty cool. So over here onto our wheel sizes, and we have 16-inch wheels on the front, and I believe we have 16-inch wheels on the rear as well. So balance those out. And let's check out our drivetrain. And we are going to have one upgrade. We're going to be up to that street transmission. That's important. You do get an extra gear with that. You are going to want it. And oh, by the way, thank you, Forza. You get 4 PI back 4 PI and an extra gear all at once. So I really can't get up to the adjustable transmission, and to be honest with you, you really don't need it either. So it's just it'd be a waste to go there just to get adjustable. This thing does just fine with the stock gears that are on it in the street transmission. Over here to the driveline, nope, yeah, I've been getting better at checking that. No free weight in here for the driveline. And then we do have our race differential as always. Over into the platform and handling, and all this stuff's going to be race. So race brakes, race springs and dampers, race front anti-roll bars, race rear anti-roll bars. No chassis reinforcement. I did test it out with this chassis reinforcement on there, and in this build actually, and it didn't need it. So it might have been a different build, but it does provide more stability, and it did help when I was running some of the faster ones. But I mean, that's a lot of PI. That's 14 PI to add on there, and it does add stability. But where I ended up, it doesn't need it at all. So and as I mentioned, being lighter, I went with a little bit lighter configuration. So we went with the race weight reduction. I tried it at standard. It just felt sluggish, and that's 547 pounds, and I couldn't quite get enough horsepower to really make up for it, and it caused some understeer and different things just because it was so heavy at 3,000 pounds. This thing at 2,500 pounds really helped with the acceleration. You can see the acceleration numbers really change. So I highly recommend that you keep with that the full weight reduction on this one. Over on to the engine parts here. Let's take a look. We're gonna have a few of these here. We got the race intake. I have the race intake manifold and throttle body. I believe we have a sport carburetor. Yep, sport carburetor. We have the race ignition. Gonna have race exhaust. Gonna have no cams. You can see I did try a configuration in there at one point in time with the race cams on there. Our valves, we have the race valves. We're gonna have race displacement as well. And then I don't remember we did the pistons. Yep, race pistons and compression. So we got most of the race parts in here. So it's really pretty good because we were able to pretty much mostly max out this engine. So it's running at peak performance, got all our performance parts on there. I did not put the oil and cooling on. That generally adds weight, which I'm not particularly interested in things that add weight along with their horsepower. So kind of takes away from the effectiveness. So that is the build. Let's take a look at our tune here. 28 and 28, you know, I always pretty much do that. And if you guys like to adjust it differently, that's kind of a personal preference thing there. Ended up at 3.5 and 3.1. I did test some lower values, and I was kind of in 3 or 4 different places with this, but ended up going with the higher. I do like it. It does grab well. It turns in nicely, and it holds turns pretty well. So I actually did well in races on like Alps and things like that too. So with this weight and power ratio that it has, as well as kind of that ability to turn and hold turns, it's very good on a lot of different tracks. So really low in the roll bars. It's all over the place with these. You might be able to play around with these, and if you like your roll bars a little bit stiffer, you could definitely bump that up. But this worked good for me at 5.43 and 8.11. And then our springs pretty soft as well, 414 and 339, and I did have to raise it up just a little bit to make up for the soft springs and the softer roll bars at 7.6 and 5.3. And then our front rebound is at 9.4 to help just a little bit with that turn in, and our rear at 10.5. And oh my, that's a mistake right there. I must have messed that up on one of my rebuilds. Seemed to work pretty well, but I'm going to drop this back down where it's supposed to be. It shouldn't have a huge impact on it, although that 1060, I'm not even sure what kind of situation I'm causing by having it that different. But what I wanted here was about 10 and 15. All right. I'm going to go back and drive this and make sure, you know, and if it shouldn't be an issue to go in there. I can't imagine that it would be. If it is, I'll put some in the annotation. Otherwise, just assume that this is all good. That was interesting, because there's a number of rebuilds I did, and then I would have to go back and redo my values. I must have forgot to bump that one down. Okay, anyway, took all the downforce out of there. Since we're going for speed build and in C-Class, you don't want that downforce. It doesn't really help that much, and it's just going to slow you down. End up with 52% balance and 200 braking force. Again, you probably aren't going to run the 200, or maybe you will. Run as high as you can, though, without constantly locking them up, and that's just going to depend on how good your finger is on the brake control. And I ended up at 17 and 8, pretty low on that, and that's just to help kind of control that wheel spin coming out of the turns and when you're back onto the throttle. So there you go. I think you guys are really going to like this car. You can if you don't want to mess with setting it up yourself, certainly you can. I'll have it shared out there, and you can download it. But it's kind of nice to get your own numbers in here because you can, some of these things are kind of personal based on the way that you drive, and you may need to set a couple of these things up, like the brakes, a little bit differently. So great car, good car to have for multiplayer to be able to pull out on those speed tracks, and then you can run it just about any track. It's really pretty versatile. So anyways, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Later.